Hello. Today we're studying representing data. We'll be discussing various types of graphs, what they look like, why you'd use them, and basically a lot of vocabulary, so get ready. Sorry. All right, our first type of graph should not be strange for you. Bar graphs. Bar graphs are used to compare categories of data. Categories of data, the mathematical term for that is qualitative. And we'll use compares categories with the bars representing the frequencies, so the number of times it happens. On your horizontal axis, so again with your graphs, horizontal is down here and vertical is going up and down. So horizontal axis displays the categories that we would like to use for the graph. And the vertical axis displays the frequency, how many times it is used. So again, you are recording this definition as well as, what's in red. And just so you know, qualitative, meaning categorical data, that's talking about your favorite ice cream, your types of books you read. So these are answers that you would give that don't have a numerical answer, that have a word answer. So an example of a bar graph will look like this. You would have data to look at, you would figure out the frequency, and then you would go forth and make the graph. So step one would be draw and label the horizontal axis. So you would label what this information is, you would label what this information is, and then you would go in and make your different bars representing the different types of data. I'm not so much worried about this today. We're going to go over this tomorrow in class, how to make a bar graph. But that's, what one looks like. So the next example is a histogram. This is probably new for you this year. A histogram displays numerical data. That's quantitative. So this difference is quantitative, not qualitative. So it displays numerical data that have been organized into equal intervals. So equal intervals. The horizontal axis, again, you're down here. The horizontal axis has equal intervals of the numerical data, and your vertical axis has the frequency of that information. So again, histograms, numerical data, and the key difference between this and a regular bar graph is that it has equal intervals being displayed. So here's an example of one. This is where you would have the ranges, so 40 to 44. So that would be 40 to 44. This would be 45 to 49. And again, you don't have to copy this down. I'm just showing you now. We're going to go over it in class. So you go down here on the bottom, and you would label the horizontal information, the intervals. And then your vertical axis would be the number of times it occurred, the frequency. So I could put, let's go 5, 10, 15, 20. And I would say, for ages of 40 to 44 of the presidents, there were 2 presidents that were in that range. So I would make a bar going up just a little way. And then for 45 to 49, there are 7 presidents that were inaugurated between those ages. So I would go up here, go up to about 7, and make a bar there. So again, the difference between just a regular bar graph and a histogram is these intervals down here. It's numerical data, not categorical data. But we'll do this in class. The third type today is line graph. And again, this one should not be new either, but just to make sure, you are going to record it anyway. Line graph shows how data changes over a period of time. Very important, over a period of time. The horizontal axis is going to be the time frame, and your vertical axis is the value of each time period. So the value of each time period. And again, very important, changes over time. Like temperature over time, or price over time. And again, an example of one, we take the cost, so sales at the Marshall High School store are shown on the table, school store sales. So September, they made $670. In October, they made $229. So you can see the graph fluctuate over time. Circle graphing, and we've been dealing with that a couple of times this year. Circle graphs show the relationship between parts of the data and the whole of the data. The circle itself represents the entire piece. It represents all of the data. So in red it says the sum of the measures of each section of the circle graph should be 360. So when we were dealing with water usage, if we used so many gallons of water per day, that's your entire circle. How many gallons of water you use flushing the toilet, that will be a portion of the circle, a percentage of the whole. So that's when you would use a circle graph, is when you're trying to find the relationship of a part of an item to a whole of an item. You could use a circle graph when it comes to your schedule. How much time of the day do you spend in math? How much time of the entire day do you spend in transitions? How much time of the day do you spend at lunch? And you can go through your entire schedule that way. The key part with circle graphs is, again, is taking your whole and comparing it to 360, because a circle has 360 degrees in it, so you have to make your relationships accountable to that. And we'll do this in class later this week. The next one for today is stem and leaf plot. And again, you probably saw this last year, but just as to make sure, it organizes data based on the values digits. The greatest common place value is used for the stem, and the next greatest place value is used to form the stem, to form the leaves. So we have our stem over here, our leaf on the right-hand side, and we typically use our tens place value as the stem and our ones as the leaf. And so it gets a little complicated once we get into stems, when we get to the hundreds, because, groups of 10 groups of 10 equals 100. So you could have above, an 8 here, you could have 10, 11, 12, but that represents into the hundreds place values. And again, this example is talking about speed of the 20 of the fastest land animals on this chart. So the speeds are 42, 40, 50, 70. So you wouldn't set up your stem and leaf, but all of your tens on the left-hand side and your ones will go on the right-hand side. And again, very important to make your key so we know what place value we're talking about. We're going to stop here on box and whisker. That's going to be a separate video. That's going to be a brand new concept for you. And it's going to take a lot more time. So don't worry about this one. We'll pick up with this tomorrow.